God.
Barak Yahuwah. Shabbat Shalom to the whole house of Yasha'al. Shalom and Barakut, that is to say, peace and blessings to the whole house of Yasha'al, all 12 tribes, wherever your feet are touching the soil on this yom. To the elder Ak, Yahudah, to the younger Ak, Ephraim, to the stranger, to the former stranger, the former foreigner, and the former Gentile, who is no longer a stranger, or in other words, estranged from the everlasting covenant, to the former foreigner and the former Gentile, who has now been engrafted into the Ba'if of Yasha'al, that is to say, you have been engrafted into the olive tree, which is Yasha'al, which is Yahusha HaMashiach, who is the branch, who is HaNatsah. Indeed, you have been engrafted because you have received the spirit of adoption. You have received the Ruach HaKadosh. You have received the Ruach of the Messiah. And you have become an adopted son. And whereby, as an adopted son, whereby having been born from above, from the loins of Yahuwah himself, you are now privy to the same everlasting covenant that was made with Yasha'al and to Yasha'al alone. Shalom to you. Shabbat Shalom to you worldwide. Wherever your feet are touching the soil, all 12 tribes, the elder Ak, Yahudah, and the younger Ak, Ephraim, and the stranger who has attached himself or herself to us. Shabbat Shalom to you on this most Kadush Yom. Shabbat Shalom. So we say to you, our Zoom family, that whole intro was for you. I'm sorry. That to our YouTube family. I've been talking to the Zoom family here for 3 hours now. To the YouTube family who is going to watch this later on. That whole intro was for you because this channel has always been about reaching Yahuwah's remnant worldwide, wherever they are, wherever they have internet connectivity. Barak Yahuwah. This channel has always been dedicated to Yahuwah's remnant, to speaking to his lost sheep, calling them out of darkness into his marvelous light. So Shabbat Shalom to you, our YouTube family who's going to watch this later on. We're grateful that you are joining us on this Shabbat Yom, albeit it may be later on, but we're grateful nonetheless that you are joining us. So without further ado, Barak Yahuwah, Barak Yahuwah, we continue this journey. We continue this narrow way, this narrow path. We continue this perfect way. Indeed, the narrow path is the perfect way. It is the narrow path that will lead to everlasting life. It is the ancient path. It is not something new. This path extends from everlasting. Indeed, this path extends from everlasting to everlasting. So it is not something new. But the revelation that Yahuwah has given us for those who have eyes to see and ears to hear is that if we continue this path, this narrow path, this ancient path, this narrow way, if we continue this path, that this path will lead us to Mount Zion, where we will be given a song that no one else can sing. But he has also impressed upon us that the only way to walk this path is to be perfect. And the only way to be perfect is to be born from above, where there is no imperfection, where there is no unrighteousness, where there is nothing unclean. The only way to have the power to walk in perfection is to be born from above. Indeed, Abba has impressed upon us and shown us that there is a distinction. Indeed, there are two manner of people walking the earth. Either you are perfect or you are imperfect. Either we are born from above or either we are born from below. Either we are the seed or either we are the seed or the product of Yahuwah, or we are the seed or the product of the wicked one. There is no in between. Either we are wheat or tares, sheep or goats. Either we are Yashar'al, either we are Jacob or Esau. There is no in between. There are two manner of men. Two manner of men. And the way to determine these two manner of men is via their nature and their character. In other words, is via their fruit. Via their fruit. Abba has been impressing upon us that if we are indeed born from above, then we are to have requisite fruit. And if we are indeed born from above, then we should have adopted the very nature and the very character of Yahuwah. Indeed, when we first began this journey after Abba brought me back to the assembly, he showed us that all of our ancient ancestors were perfect. They were perfect. All of them, every single one of them were perfect. Why? Because Yahuwah is perfect. If we are indeed his children, then we are to be perfect as he is perfect. But in examining that word perfect in the Hebrew tongue, we discovered that the Hebrew word there for perfect is the word tam, spelled T-A-M. It is broken down in the Hebrew tongue via the letters ta and mam. Ta and mam. Indeed, wherever we see the Hebrew letter ta, this is indicative of covenant. Because indeed, Yahuwah is what? Is the Aleph and the Tau. He is the beginning and the everlasting covenant. It is also comprised of the Hebrew letter mam, which is represented by water. And we understand that wherever we see mam, this then alludes to spirit, ruach, because the spirit is water. Indeed, if anyone believes in Yahusha, out of his belly will flow what? Rivers of living water. So, in other words now, he is showing us there that this then, to be perfect, is a trait or a characteristic of someone who is in covenant with Yahuwah. We cannot say that we are in covenant with a perfect Elohim if we are walking in imperfection. No, we then make him a liar. We then make him a liar. Indeed, furthermore, in breaking down that word, the definition of the word tam, we saw that it not only means perfect, but it also means to be quiet, to be gentle, to be perfect, and to be complete. And so here lies the distinction. Here lies the separation. Either we are perfect or we are imperfect. Either we are born from above or we are born from below. Indeed, all of our righteous fathers, the operative word is righteous. All of our righteous fathers in whom we've been looking at, their example, and in whom we've been comparing ourselves, they were all born from above, and they were all tam. They were all perfect. They were all perfect. Each and every one of our righteous fathers were all perfect as Yahuwah is perfect. And so last week, and I'm not going to do a complete review of what we've been talking about. If you here on YouTube and you've just tuned in, don't even start watching this teaching until you've watched the previous ones, and indeed, I haven't even given you the title yet. If you're taking notes, the title of this teaching, of this message, is Searching for the Ancient Path, Part 26. Searching for the Ancient Path, Part 26. Two manner of people. Two manner of people. We're going to continue where we left off last week with respect to two manner of people. And so if you're listening via YouTube here later on, I encourage you to stop this video right now and begin at part 25. And if you're just starting to listen, unfortunately, you probably, or not unfortunately, fortunately, you probably need to go back and start at part 1 and do some catch up work. Nevertheless, again, I'm not going to do a complete review. If you've been following this channel at any link, or if you're of the Zoom family, there should not have to be a complete review of what Abba has been speaking, or what Abba spoke last week, or what he spoke the previous week. And so without further ado, again, the title of this teaching is Searching for the Ancient Path, Part 26. Part 26, Two Manner of People. Two manner of people. Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah.
Start with Kanuk.
Barak Yahuwah. And so we're going to begin this week where we left off last week. We didn't get to this precept, but we're going to read this precept this week, and that is Kanuk
22,
Kanuk,
1 through 6.
That is Enoch, the 22nd chapter,
1 through 6.
Verses 1 through 6. Enoch, the 22nd chapter, verses 1 through 6. And we may read this and we may revert to what we previously led. I tell you what, where did we stop off last week? Where did we last read last week?
Yehukanan 8, 31 and 44.
Yehukanan 8, 31 and 44. We're not going to start there. We're going to start at Enoch chapter 8.
Yes, or chapter 22.
Chapter 22, I'm sorry, verses
1 through 6.
Verses 1 through 6. And I'll give you just a little bit to catch up. That's Enoch, Kanuk, chapter 22, verses 1 through 6. Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah. I don't know about you, but I'm excited where this path ends. I'm very excited where this path ends. I'm very encouraged about where this path ends. I don't know about you, but I have an expectation. I have a hope as to where this path ends if we walk this path in the manner in which is expected of us. I have a hope and I have an expectation about where this path is going to end. Enoch, Kanuk, chapter 22, verses 1 through 6. Beginning at verse 1, go ahead and read, little one.
From there I proceeded to another spot, where I saw on the west a great and lofty mountain, a strong rock, and 4 delightful places. Internally it was deep, capacious, and very smooth, as smooth as it had been rolled over. It was both deep and dark to behold. Then Raphael, one of the Kadush Malakim who were with me, answered and said, These are the delightful places where the Ruach, the souls of the dead, will be collected.
The delightful places of which the Ruach of the dead will be placed. Read.
For them were they formed, and here will be collected all the souls of the sons of men. These places in which they dwell shall they occupy until the day of judgment, and until their appointed period. Their appointed period will be long, even until the great judgment. And I saw the Ruach of the sons of men who were dead, and their voices reached to heaven while they were accusing. Then I acquired of Raphael a Malakim who was with me, and said, Whose Ruach is that, the voice of which reaches to heaven and accuses? He answered, saying, This is the Ruach of Habal, who was slain by Cain, his brother, who will cause that brother until his seed be destroyed from the face of the earth, until his seed perish from the seed of mankind. At that time thereof I inquired respecting him, and respecting the general judgment, saying, Why is one separated from another?
Two manner of people. Why is one separated from the other? We're going to remain separated. Barak Yahuwah, read.
He answered, 3 separations have been made between the Ruach of the dead, and thus have the Ruach of the righteous been separated, namely by a chasm, by water, and by light above it. And in the same way, likewise, are those that commit crimes separated when they die, and are buried in the earth, judgment not overtaking them in their lifetime. Here their souls are separated. Moreover, abundant is their suffering until the time of the great judgment.
Abundant is their suffering of the unrighteous until that time of judgment. Read.
The castigation and the torment of those who internally execrate, whose souls are punished and bound there forever. And thus it has been from the beginning of the world. Thus has there existed a separation between the souls of those who utter complaints.
Oh, thus has been since the beginning of the world a separation. And indeed, we see before our very eyes a great separation taking place right before our eyes in this season. Indeed, there's only 2 manner of men. There's a lot of talk going on about how a certain people is Esau and how a certain people going to be slaves. They talk ignorantly. They have no understanding. They have not the Ruach of Yahuwah. There are only 2 manner of men. 2 manner of men. Either you are righteous or unrighteous. Either you are born from above or born from below. Either you are a sheep or you are a goat. Either you are wheat or tares. Either you are perfect or imperfect. There is no in between. Either you are the seed of Yahuwah or the seed of the wicked one. There is no in between. And if you are seed of Yahuwah, there ought to be some requisite fruit. There must be some requisite fruit. And there ought to be a body of work. There ought to be a blueprint. Indeed, there is the Torah. The Torah is our blueprint, but we can see the Torah. We can see this ancient path being played out in our righteous fathers, in which we're going to continue to look at their righteous examples and examine ourselves to ensure that our lives and our conduct aligns with theirs, which by extension should align with Torah, which by extension should align with the nature and the character of Yahuwah. There are only 2 manner of men. Only 2 manner of men. And in the end, as in life, there is a separation, but in the end, there is going to be a separation between 2 people, between Jacob and Esau. Period. There's going to be a separation. Read, little one.
And of those who watch for their destruction, to slaughter them in the day of sinners. A receptacle of the sort has been formed for the souls of the unrighteous men and of sinners, of those who have completed crime and associated with the impious whom they resemble. Their souls shall not be annihilated in the day of judgment, neither shall they arise from this place. Then I Baruch Elohim and said, Baruch be my master Yahuwah of esteem and of righteousness, who reigns over all forever and ever.
Barak Yahuwah, Barak Yahuwah. And so there is an expected end for the righteous, and there is an expected end for the unrighteous. The unrighteous will never rise. They will never rise. They're going to stay in the place of condemnation forever. They're going to stay there forever. Correction. They are going to rise because hell is going to give up the dead to stand before the great white throne. But then they're going to be thrown into the burning lake of fire. But there is only 2 manner of people. 2 manner of people. That's it, Mashpaka. That's it. Either we are perfect or we are imperfect. Yahuwah in this season has taken away all excuses. He has left no excuses on the table. We either fall into 2 categories. Perfect or imperfect. Righteous or unrighteous. That's it. That's it. And in these teachings, he is teaching us how to walk the righteous path, how to walk the perfect path, to ensure that our lifestyle is aligned with perfection, that our lifestyle is aligned with righteousness, that our lifestyle is aligned with his, that we resemble him, and by resembling him, we by nature resemble the walk of our ancient forefathers. Barak Yahuwah. Read, little one.
We have Luke 16:19 through 31.
Luke chapter 16, verse 19 through 31. This is a precept to Kanuk, what we just read. Luke chapter 16, verse 19 through 31. Luke chapter 16, verse 19 through 31. Indeed, two manner of people. That's all I was concerned about. Two manner of people. Either you're righteous or you're unrighteous. There is no in between. Either you are righteous or unrighteous. Either you're seed of Yahuwah or seed of the wicked one. There is no in between. He's taken away and removed all excuses in this season. All of them. All of them. We must examine ourselves and ensure that we are operating in righteousness, which is what? Obedience to Torah, in Ruach and in truth. In Ruach and in truth. Again, we cannot operate in righteousness and we cannot walk the ancient path without having been born from above, because we must be perfect. Yes, we must be perfect. Indeed, Yahushua says a good tree cannot bear bad fruit. He said it. It is impossible for a good tree to bear bad fruit. It cannot bear it. It cannot bear bad fruit. So either we are righteous or unrighteous, either we're perfect or imperfect. That's it. He's removed all excuses, all of them. He's removed all of the excuses of talking about I'm a work in progress. All of the excuses that he knows my heart. He's removed all excuses, all of them, and left none on the table. Either we are perfect or imperfect, righteous or unrighteous. Either we are sheep or goats. Either we are the good seed or we are from the wicked seed or from the wicked one. There is no in between. There is no in between. And there is a great separation taking place now right before our very eyes. Luke chapter 16, verses 19 through 31, beginning at verse 19. Read, little one.
But there was a certain rich man who used to dress in purple and fine linen and live luxuriously every day. And there was a certain beggar named Alazar, being covered with sores, who was placed at his gate, and longing to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table.
Whoa, wait a minute. Now, what is Torah? What does Torah say? That we'll feed the poor. That we'll feed the hungry. More specifically, it says this. When gleaning your field, don't glean the corners of your field. Leave that for the poor of the land, for the fatherless, for the widows, for the strangers of the land. Leave it for the poor of the land. When you're picking your grapes, don't reach behind you. Or when you're picking your olives, don't reach above you or behind you. Leave that for the fatherless, for the widow, and for the stranger of the land. Where to feed them. This is Torah, you see. This is righteousness. This is righteousness. And so this rich man had this poor man sitting outside of his gate, probably naked, having sores on him, hungry, begging for just the crumbs off this rich man's table. For just the crumbs off of this rich man's table. See here, now, Yahushua is speaking this so-called parable to the people of Yahudah, of whom through he came. He is speaking this so-called parable to Yahuwah's chosen people. Yes, he is. He is speaking this parable to Yahudim. Oh, don't boast in your genealogy. There are two manner of folk. Either you righteous or unrighteous. Either you righteous or unrighteous. Listen. Listen. There are many from Yahudah who are going to be invited to a barbecue. There are many from Ephraim who are going to be invited to a barbecue. And there are many strangers who are going to enter into life. You see, this is about two manner of men. Either you perfect or you imperfect. Either you born from above or you born from below. There is no in between. You see, Yahuwah is Ruach. And no flesh shall boast before him. And flesh and blood shall not inherit. The operative word is inherit. You see, we're talking about the law of inheritance here. Only the firstborn sons inherit the possessions of the father. But you see, Yahuwah is Ruach. And in order to be his firstborn, you can't be his firstborn by the flesh. You've got to be born from above. As Yahusha was firstborn, as he was conceived via the Ruach and born this way. You see, we have to be reborn in a similar manner in order to become his sons. He don't care about the genealogy, you see, because genealogy doesn't give us the power to resist the devil. Only the Ruach gives us the ability to resist the devil. And if we don't resist the devil, we're going to be invited to a barbecue right next to him. So here, he talking to Yahudim. Yes, he is. I dare you to prove me wrong. He's talking to Yahudim here. And he's telling them this parable. This rich man is a Yahudim. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. And he is an unrighteous man. He is an imperfect man. He is not born from above. You see, it's always been about the distinction. It's always been about the good seed and the wicked seed, starting in the very beginning with Cain and Habal. It's always been about that. It's always been about the righteous and the unrighteous. It's always been about this. Always been about this. And it continues to be about this. Read, little one.
And longing to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. Indeed, even the dogs came and licked his sores. And it came to be that the beggar died and was carried by the messengers to the bosom of Abraham.
You see, that's that good place, that narrow place, as Esdras declares, bright springs of water, and those pleasant places that we just read about in the book of Canute. This is out of the mouth of two or more witnesses, let every matter be established. Read.
And the rich man also died and was buried. And while suffering tortures in Shaul.
Oh, while suffering what?
Tortures in Shaul.
See, you don't believe me that there is only two manner of men. Two manner of men, and there is no in between. And the righteous will be at rest. Yes, they will. Yes, they will. But the wicked, are the imperfect, are going to suffer torment throughout eternity. Where did this rich man go?
Shaul.
Oh, he went to hell. You can say hell. We ain't self-righteous up. He was self-righteous. He went down there afraid to say hell.
Hell.
Hell. Barak Yahuwah.
Having lifted up his eyes, he saw Abraham far away, and Al-Azar in his bosom. And crying out, he said, Father Abraham, have compassion on me, and send Ali-Azar to dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue, for I am suffering in this flame. But Abraham said to him, O son, remember that in your life you received good, and likewise Ali-Azar the evil. But now he is comforted and you are suffering. And besides all this, between us and you, a great chasm has been set.
Canute spoke of that chasm. Up above, out of the mouth of two or more witnesses, let every matter be established. Read.
So that those who wish to pass from here to you are unable, nor do those from there pass to us. And he said, Then I beg you, Father, that you would send him to my father's house. For I have 5 brothers. Let him warn them, lest they also come to this place of torture.
Listen. Read.
Abraham said to him, They have Moshe and the prophets.
They have Moshe and the prophets. In other words, they have the Torah and the prophets. The Torah is righteousness. They have the ancient path laid before them. They have the Torah laid before them. They have Moshe and the prophets. Read.
And let them hear them. And he said, No, Father Abraham, but if someone from the dead goes to them, they shall repent. But he said to him, If they do not hear Moshe and the prophets, neither would they be persuaded if one should rise from the dead.
Barak Yahuwah. There is a distinction and a separation. And guess what? We must wherefore come out, even in life, we must what? Wherefore come out from among them. Be ye separate. Touch not the unclean thing, which is contrary to Torah, and he will receive us. And so now in this season, right before our eyes, we're seeing this distinction and this separation take place. He's showing us. He's showing us the fruit. He's showing us what someone who is in covenant with Yahuwah should look like, what they should act like, how they should operate. One of the ways he showed us was a couple of Shabbats ago when he spoke of Tom, that person should be perfect, that they should be quiet, that they should be gentle, that they should be lamb-like, meek and humble and mild. They should not always be running their mouths all the time. They should be somewhere sitting quiet, listening for the voice of Yahuwah, listening to his instructions and instructing them in the way that they should behave. And so he showed us if we see somebody who is always running their mouths, who always needs a platform, who always needs position, who always has something to say, that this is not the nature and character of him, because he doesn't talk all the time. And so in this season, unlike ever before, he is making that distinction. He is making that separation and showing us what it looks like to be perfect and what it looks like to walk the ancient path. Indeed, there are only two manner of men. Two manner, that's it. That's it. Come on, somebody say that to me. Somebody repeat, two manner of men.
Two manner of men.
Say it again.
Two manner of men.
Two manner of men.
Two manner of men. Do you understand, Mashpaka? Do you understand, family, that there are only two manner of men? Yes. Do you understand? Yes. He has removed all excuses. He has removed them. He has removed the excuses off the table. Either we're perfect or imperfect. That's it. That's it. Perfect or imperfect. Read, little one.
We got the second book of Adam and Kuah.
Barak Yahuwah. Now we're going to move into the second book of Adam and Kuah. You might have it as the Forgotten Books of Eden, Part 2. But if you're reading from the Sefer, it's going to read as the second book of Adam and Kuah. And we're going to continue to look now at these two manner of people. Two manner of people. When we saw that separation in the beginning, when we were reading the end chapters of the first book of Adam and Kuah, when we saw that where that separation began with Cain and with Habal. And Abba, he showed us there that either we are descended from Cain, which is to say we are descended from the wicked one, and that extends all the way to Nimrod, and that extends all the way to Esau. Either we are descended from them, or we are descended from Habal, or by extension, Seth. And all of the firstborn sons that came forth from Seth, so forth and foron throughout the generations. And we're going to look at all of them. We're going to look at all these righteous fathers whom, if you and I aspire to walk this ancient path, having been born from above, walking the path of perfection, if we are walking this path in like manner, we are descended from them. And we are in like manner firstborn sons. But if we walk in imperfection, then we are walking like Cain. We are walking like Nimrod, the man of rebellion. All of these men were rebellious. We're walking like Esau. Either you are obedient or you're rebellious. That's it. That's it. He's removed all excuses, all of them. All of them, all excuses. Oh, he's removed the I'm a work in progress and Abba knows my heart. He's removed all of that. He's removed all of that. He's even removed the excuses from those who say, well, I keep Torah. I keep Torah. You can't keep Torah with your self-righteous behind in your flesh. You cannot. You talking about you keep Torah, but you hate people. You got hatred in your heart. You a liar and the truth is not in you. Torah is love. Torah is love. You can't keep Torah if you don't love people. You're a liar and the truth is not in you. Indeed, there are two manner of folk. Two manner of people. Either you are a seed of Cain, which is the seed of the wicked one, which is you're then related to Nimrod and related to Esau, or you are born, you are related to Habal, righteous Habal, and by extension Seth, and all of our righteous fathers, down to Yahushua HaMashiach himself, who also was descended from them. He was descended from them. All of these righteous men, all of these firstborn sons, he was descended from them. And all who are attached to him, who have his Ruach, are in like manner descended from all these righteous men. Barak Yahuwah. So we're reading now. We're going to start at chapter 1 of the Forgotten Books of Adam and Kua. And we're going to begin reading at chapter 1. How are we doing for time, little one?
Gotta put on my glasses. 35 minutes.
35 minutes. Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah. Right. So beginning at chapter 1. Now, Cain has just murdered his righteous brother Habal. And in that murder, we saw both the righteousness and the compassion of Yahuwah, in that he even gave wicked Cain, or wicked Cain, an opportunity to repent. Indeed, it is not his desire that anyone should perish. But in that example, we saw that indeed we see this example playing out even today, that many who are descended from Cain, who operate as seed of the wicked one, they are unrepentant. They will not repent. Indeed, we see this very character in this nature of those who operate in the Jezebel spirit. I've never seen one repent. I've never seen one repent. And so she too is a seed of Cain. And so we're seeing this play out. We're seeing this play out. This is another characteristic. If you have someone who is a so-called brother or a so-called sister who has wronged you and refuses to repent, you know who they are a seed of. They are a seed of the wicked one. They are a seed of Cain. Abba has removed the guesswork. There is no need to guess. There is no need to second guess that. They have shown you who they are. Believe who they are. And wherefore come out from among them, and be ye separate, and touch not the unclean thing, and he will receive us. Otherwise, that wicked seed, as we're going to read here, will contaminate you. Will contaminate you. And so in this season, as Abba is revealing these things to us, he's revealing these people, and he's revealing right conduct. He's revealing righteous conduct via his righteous path. And he's revealing unrighteous conduct. As he begins to reveal unrighteous conduct in both others and us, we must separate ourselves from it and them. We must separate ourselves if we have expectation and hope of this ancient path leading us to Mount Zion, where we will be giving a song that no one else can sing. Barak Yahuwah. Go ahead, little one.
When Lulawa heard Cain's words, she wept and went to her father and mother.
Now, Lulawa is the sister of Cain. She is his twin sister. Barak Yahuwah, read.
And told them how that Cain had killed his brother Habal. Then they all cried aloud and lifted up their voices and slapped their faces and threw dust upon their heads and rent asunder their garments, and went out and came to the place where Habal was killed. And they found him lying on the earth, killed, and beasts around him, while they wept and cried because of this just one. This
just one, this righteous one, this perfect one. Abba told you that this path ain't new, that all of them were just, all of them were righteous, all of them were perfect. Yes, they were. And if we profess to be related to them, we must be just like them. Read, little one.
From his body, by reason of its purity.
Go start back, because I don't want them to miss that. Come on.
While they wept and cried because of this just one, from his body, by reason of his purity.
By reason of his purity. Come on.
Went forth the smell.
Wait. By reason of his purity, by reason of his perfection. He was perfect. He was perfect. And we too must be perfect. Read.
Went forth a smell of sweet spices.
It's a little hard to hear. I'm sorry, y'all.
Oh, is it? Okay, I'm coming closer.
Okay, she's moving closer.
Sure, the sun don't Okay. And Adam carried him, his tears streaming down his face. Is that better?
Can you hear her? Can you hear her now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And went to the cave of treasures, where he laid him and wound him up with sweet spices and myrrh. And Adam and Kua continued by the burial of him in great grief 140 days. Habal was 15.5 years old, and Cain 17 years and a half. As for Cain, when the mourning for his brother was ended, he took his sister Lulawa and married her without leave from his father and mother, for they could not keep him from her by reason of their heavy heart. He then went down to the bottom of the mountain, away from the garden, near to the place where he had killed his brother. And in that place were many fruit trees and forest trees. His sister bare him children, who in their turn began to multiply by degrees until they filled that place.
Barak Yahuwah. There we see now the separation of men. There we see the separation of men. We see the righteous that remained with Adam. And we see the unrighteous that went down to begin progenation. He began to bear seed. And so here the separation begins. The perfect from the imperfect. And there is no in between. The perfect from the imperfect. This is where it begins. And this continues to play out this day. It continues to play out. There is no in between. Either we are perfect or we are imperfect. Either we are like Cain, whereby being related to him, or we are like righteous Habal. We are like righteous Habal, who was a foreshadowing of the Hamashiach, who was also righteous. As righteous Habal's blood pleaded or cried out from the earth, the righteous blood of Yahushua Hamashiach cries out louder than he is. Barak Yahuwah, Barak Yahuwah. So we then must understand that we must be like Yahusha. We must be like him, who was like Habal. Habal being like him in every way. We must be like him. He was perfect. We must be perfect. And the only way to be perfect is to be born in like manner in which he was born, via the Ruach, so that we may operate, so that we may, as the scripture says, walk as he walked. Walk as he walked in perfection. Read, little one.
But as for Adam and Kua, they came not together after Habal's funeral for 7 years. After this, however, Kua conceived, and while she was with child, Adam said to her, "Come, let us take an offering and offer it up unto Elohim," and asked him to give us a fair child in whom we may find comfort, and whom we may join in marriage to Habal's sister. Then they prepared an offering and brought it up to the altar.
Wait a minute, they prepared a what?
An offering.
A what?
An offering.
A what?
An offering.
See, y'all thought it was new. No. This dates back to eternity. These offerings are not optional. They are required. This is the righteous path. This is the ancient path. Read.
And brought it up to the altar and offered it before the master, and began to entreat him to accept their offering and to give them a good offspring. And Elohim heard Adam and accepted his offering. Then they worshipped Adam, Kua, and their daughter, and came down to the cave of treasures.
Wait a minute. They worshipped?
Then they worshipped.
They worshipped?
Yes, then they worshipped.
Then they worshipped.
Then they worshipped.
Barak Yahuwah. See, they thought that was new as well.
Oh.
They thought that was some new invention for us to worship. They thought it was something new. Just something just created. Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah. It's an ancient thing. Barak Yahuwah. Believe it or not, it dates back to eternity. Read, little one.
Adam, Kua, and their daughter, and came down to the cave of treasures, and placed a lamp in it to burn by night and by day before the body of Habal. Then Adam and Kua continued fasting and praying until Kua's time came that she should be delivered. When she said to Adam, "I wish to go to the cave in the rock to bring forth in it." And he said, "Go and take with thee thy daughter to wait on thee, but I will remain in the cave of treasures before the body of my son Habal." Then Kua hearkened to Adam, and went she and her daughter, but Adam remained by himself in the cave of treasures. And that's it.
Barak Yahuwah. Next precept.
Bereshith, Genesis 5:1-32.
Genesis 5:1-32. Genesis 5:1-32. We left out here in the second book of Adam and Kua. What chapter was that?
Chapter 1.
Chapter 1. And now we're going here as a precept to Genesis chapter 5, verse 1-32.
Okay. This is the book of...
Wait. Genesis chapter 5, verse 1 through 32. Genesis chapter 5, Barashit chapter 5, verse 1 through 32. Read.
This is the book of the genealogy of Adam in the day that Elohim created man.
This is the genealogy of the book of Adam in the day that Yahuwah created man.
He made him in the likeness of Elohim. Male and female, he created them.
Male and female, he created them. So male and female is Adam, is mankind. This is how we understand that the redemption of Adam, of mankind, is within the house of Yasha'al, both male and female. We're not going to talk about that again right now. Go ahead and read, little one.
And he blessed them and called their name Adam.
He blessed them and called their name Adam. Read.
In the day they were created. And Adam lived 130 years and brought forth the son in his own likeness after his image and called his name Shaph.
And called his name Shaph, another son in his own image according to his own likeness, and called his name Self or Shaph. In other words, he was perfect like him. Yes, he was. Adam was born perfect. Adam was created perfect. He committed one transgression. One. Adam was perfect. And so was Shaph, who was created in his likeness and in his image. He too was perfect. All of our ancient fathers were perfect. Read, little one.
And after he brought forth Shaph, the days of Adam were 800 years. And he brought forth sons and daughters. So all the days that Adam lived were 930 years, and he died. And Shaph lived 105 years and brought forth Enosh.
And Shaph lived 105 years and brought forth Anush or Enosh. Now, what you need to understand, that all of these names written here in this genealogy are all firstborn sons. These are all sons of the covenant. These are all sons of the inheritance. They are all born from above, and they all have the likeness and character of their fathers. And by extension, they all have the likeness and character of Yahuwah himself. So only firstborn sons are listed here. This is why he only names one son, and then it goes on to say, and he bore more sons and daughters. So only the firstborn son. And so when I say our righteous fathers, these are the ones I'm referring to. The firstborn sons. These are the ones that I'm referring to. These are the ones in whom Abba wants us to look at their example. Our righteous fathers. He wants us to look at their example and walk in this path of perfection. Read.
And after he brought forth Enosh, Shaph lived 807 years and brought forth sons and daughters. So all the days of Sheph were 912 years, and he died. And Enosh lived 90 years and brought forth Cainan. And after he brought forth Cainan, Enosh lived 815 years and brought forth sons and daughters. So all the days of Enosh were 905 years, and he died. And Canaan lived 70 years and brought forth Mahaliel, and he brought forth Mahaliel. Canaan lived 840 years and brought forth sons and daughters. So all the days of Canaan were 910 years, and he died. And Mahaliel lived 65 years and brought forth Yared. And after he brought forth Yared, Mahaliel lived 830 years and brought forth sons and daughters. So all the days of Mahaliel were 895 years, and he died. And Yared lived 162 years and brought forth Canuk. And after he brought forth Canuk, Yared lived 800 years and brought forth sons and daughters.
I pray that so far you can see that these are all righteous men. So now we're at Canuk, who walked with Abba for 300 years, for actually 365 years, and he was taken. These are all righteous men, all righteous fathers, all firstborn sons. All perfect men, all of them. This is our righteous line. If you were born from above, this is our righteous line. if you were born via the Ruach of the Messiah, who descended from these people. This is our righteous line. And if this is our righteous line, then we are to be perfect like they were perfect and operate in a similar manner, and also have their very natures and character, which translates into having the very nature and character of Yahuwah. Keep reading.
So all the days of Yarad were 962 years, and he died. And Canuk lived 65 years and brought forth Methuselah. And after he brought forth Methuselah, Canuk walked with Elohim 300 years and brought forth sons and daughters. So all the days of Canuk were 365 years. And Canuk walked with Elohim. Then he was no more. For Elohim took him. And Methuselah lived 187 years and brought forth Lamech.
Hold up. Canuk walked with Abba perfectly for 365 years. He walked the ancient path 365 years. In fact, all of them were perfect. All of these righteous fathers here were perfect, were considered perfect by Abba. But Canuk exceeded them all. And it is said that Nuach in righteousness was only exceeded by Canuk. Was only exceeded by Canuk. But the point is, these are all firstborn sons. This is sons of the inheritance, sons of the covenant, all walking the ancient perfect path, whom if we aspire to walk it, if we claim to walk it in perfection, these are the righteous fathers that we are descended from. These are our righteous fathers, all firstborn sons. Only firstborn sons are going to inherit. Only firstborn sons are going to inherit. Indeed, according to Torah, what does it say? He only redeems firstborn sons. He will only redeem firstborn sons. Read.
And after he brought forth Lamech, Methuselah lived 782 years and brought forth sons and daughters. So all the days of Methuselah were 969 years, and he died. And Lamech lived 182 years and brought forth a son and called his name Noach, saying, this one does comfort us concerning our work and the toil of our hands because of the ground which Yahuwah has cursed. And after he brought forth Noach, Lamech lived 595 years and brought forth sons and daughters. So all the days of Lamech were 777 years, and he died. And Noach was 500 years old, and Noach brought forth Sham, Cam, and Japheth.
Japheth. Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah.
Okay. Luke 3:23 to 38.
Luke, the 23rd chapter.
Oh boy.
Verses
23 to 38.
Verses 23 to 38. Luke, the 23rd chapter, verse 23 through 38. Luke, the 23rd chapter, verse 23 through 38. Y'all pray for Ashiya. Y'all pray for Ashiya, family. Ashiya ain't used to doing all this reading, and I'm so grateful for her. I am. I'm truly grateful for that Abba's work and continue, that he's given me her, and that she puts up with her Aish. You know, I can get real passionate. Fire starts to stir my belly, and Ashiya can be kind of timid, and when that fire starts to churn in my belly, y'all pray that she don't get up and run. Barak Yahuwah.
Barak Yahuwah.
Barak Yahuwah. Okay.
Barak Yahuwah.
Luke chapter 23, verses 23 through 38. Read, little one.
And when Yahusha himself began, he was about 30 years of age, being as reckoned by law, son of Yahusuf, of Ali, of Mattiyahu, of Lewi, of Malachi, of Yanan, of Yahusuf, of Mattiyahu, of Amutz, of Nahum, of Kasli, of Noga, of Ma'atha, of Mattiyahu, of Shimeon, of Yahusuf, of Yehuda, of Yehukanan, of Raphael, of Zerubbabel, of Sha'atal, of Nari, of Malachi, of Adi, of Kasam, of Al-Madam, of Oh.
I think she's reading the wrong chapter. Mine's not reading.
Yeah, mine reading different too.
What chapter you got?
Luke 3, 23, 38.
It's Luke 3. It's Luke 3. I thought you said 23.
Oh.
I'm sorry. Forgive me. It's Luke 3, verse 23 through 38. Luke chapter 3.
Do you want me to start over?
Yeah, she's going to start over. Luke chapter 3,
Names.
verse 23 through 38. Luke chapter 3, verse 23 through 38.
Okay. Ready?
Yes.
Okay. When Yahushua himself began, he was about 30 years of age, being as reckoned by law, son of Yahusuf, of Ali, of Mattiahu, of Lewi, of Malachi, of Yanan, of Yahusuf, of Mattiyahu, of Amutz, of Nakum, of Kasli, of Noga, of Ma'ath, of Mattiahu, of Shimeon, of Yahusuf, of Yehuda, of Yehukanan, of Rahayah, of Zerubbabel, of Sha'atal, of Nari, of Malakah, of Adi, of Kusam, of Almadam, of of Yahusha, of Eleazar, of Yarim, of Mattiahu, of Lewi, of Shimeon, of Yehuda, of Yahusuf, of Yonam, of Alakam, of Mali, of Manan, of Mata'ah, of Nathan, of Dawid, of Yashi, of Obadiah, of Boaz, of Salmon, of Nakshan, of Aminadab, of Ram, of Hazron, of Paretz, of Yehuda, of Yaakub, of Ishkak, of Abraham.
Okay, now at Ishkak, slow down. Slow down now. Slow down from Ishkak. All right, from Ishkak, read.
Of Abraham, of Tarak,
slow down, of Tarak,
of Nakor,
of Nakor,
of Sharug,
of Sarug,
of Ra'u,
of Ra'u,
of Palag,
of Palag,
of Aber,
Aber,
of Shalak,
of Shalak,
of Canaan,
of
Arpachshad, of Sham,
of Shem,
of Noach,
of Nuach,
of Lamach, of Methuselah,
of Methuselah,
of Kanuk,
of Kanuk,
of Yarad,
of Yarad,
of Mahalalel,
of Mahalalel,
of Canaan,
of Canaan,
of Enush,
of Anush,
of Shath,
of Shath,
of Adam,
of Adam,
of Alaham,
of Elohim, of Elohim. These are the sons of Elohim. This righteous line, this righteous, perfect line of firstborn sons, down through the Hamashiach. And so if the Hamashiach is in us and we are in him via his Ruach, then we too are descended from this righteous line all the way back to Adam, which leads to Yahuwah himself. And if this is the case, we're going to have the very same nature and character that they had. You see, Yahushua came to a people that was steeped in the tradition of men via the teachings of the Pharisees. The traditions of men via the teachings of the Pharisees. And he came to show them the ancient path, to reteach them the ancient path that all of these righteous fathers in which he descended from walked. All of them. And so if we are in him, he in us, then we are to have these very same traits and characteristics. We are to have this very same nature and character. We are to walk the ancient path in the same way in which they walked it. If we aren't, then you're not related to them. We're not related to them. And if we're not related to them, which goes all the way back to Yahuwah, then we're not related to him. We're not his son. We're not his daughter. Because to have his perfect Ruach in us means to walk in perfection. It means to be perfect as he is perfect, as all of these righteous men displayed. Read, little one.
Second book of Kua.
So now we go back to the second book of Kua, of Adam and Kua. The second book of Adam and Kua. I believe we're going to start at chapter 2.
Chapter 2.
Chapter 2. The second book of Adam and Kua, beginning at chapter 2. Second book of Adam and Kua, beginning at chapter 2. At chapter 2, beginning at verse 1. Go ahead and read, little one.
And Kua brought forth a son perfectly beautiful in figure and in countenance. His beauty was like that of his father Adam, yet more beautiful. Then Kua was comforted when she saw him, and remained 8 days in the cave. Then she sent her daughter unto Adam to tell him to come and see the child and name him.
This is 8 days. This is according to Torah. This is according to Torah. On the 8th day, the male sons are circumcised, and this is when they are named. This is when they are named. And so this is Torah. Torah did not begin with Masha. Torah began with Yahuwah, because he is Torah. He is the living Torah. He is the ancient path. The ancient path is Torah. Barak Yahuwah. Read, little one.
But the daughter stayed in his place by the body of her brother until Adam returned, so did she. But when Adam came and saw the child's good looks, his beauty and his perfect figure, he rejoiced over him and was comforted for Habal. Then he named the child Shaph. That means that Elohim has heard my prayer and has delivered me out of my affliction. But it means also power and strength. Then after Adam had named the child, he returned to the cave of treasures, and his daughter went back to her mother. But Kua continued in her cave until 40 days were fulfilled, when she came to Adam and brought with her the child and her daughter. And they came to a river of water, where Adam and his daughter washed themselves because of their sorrow for Habal. But Kua and the babe washed for purification. Then they returned and took an offering and went to the mountain and offered it up for the babe. And Elohim accepted their offering and sent his blessing upon them and upon their son Shaph. And they came back to the cave of treasures. As for Adam, he knew not again his wife Kua all the days of his life, neither was any more offspring born of them, but only those 5, Cain, Lulawa, Habal, Akla, and Shaph alone. But Shaph waxed in stature and in strength, and began to fast and pray fervently.
But Shaph waxed great in what?
In stature.
And stature and strength. And what?
I gotta go back to it. And began to fast and pray fervently.
And began to fast and pray fervently. He began the very same path that his father taught him. And he began the very same path that righteous Habal was walking. The good and perfect way. The ancient path. The ancient path. All of our ancient fathers walked this way. All of them were perfect. All of them were firstborn sons. Read, little one.
Chapter 3.
Chapter 3.
As for our father Adam, at the end of 7 years from the day he had been severed from his wife Kua, Hashatan envied him when he saw him thus separated from her, and strove to make him live with her again. Then Adam rose and went up above the cave of treasures, and continued to sleep there night by night. But as soon as it was light every day, he came down to the cave to pray there and to receive a blessing from it. But when it was evening, he went up on the roof of the cave, where he slept by himself, fearing lest Hashatan should overcome him, and he continued thus apart 39 days. Then Hashatan, the hater of all good, when he saw Adam thus alone, fasting and praying, appeared unto him in the form of a beautiful woman, who came and stood before him in the night of the 40th day, and said unto him, O Adam, from the time ye have dwelt in this cave, we have experienced great peace from you, and your prayers have reached us, and we have been comforted about you. But now, O Adam, that thou hast gone up over the roof of the cave to sleep, we have had doubts about thee, and a great sorrow has come upon us because of the separation from Kua. Then again, when thou art on the roof of this cave, thy prayer is poured out, and thy heart wanders from side to side. But when thou wast in the cave, thy prayer was like fire gathered together. It came down to us, and thou didst find rest. Then I also grieved over the children who were severed from thee, and my sorrow is great above the murder of thy son Habal. for he was righteous, and over a righteous man every one will grieve. But I rejoiced over the birth of thy son Shoph. Yet after a little while I sorrowed greatly after Kua, because she is my sister. For when Elohim sent a deep sleep over thee, and drew her out of the side, he brought me out also with her. But he raised her by placing her with thee, while he lowered me. I rejoiced over my sister for her being with thee. But Elohim had made me a promise before, and said, Grieve not when Adam has gone up on the roof of the cave of treasures, and is separated from Kua his wife. I will send thee to him. Thou shalt join thyself to him in marriage, and bear him 5 children, as Kua did bear 5. And now, lo, Elohim promised to me is fulfilled, for it is he who has sent me to thee for the wedding, if thou wed me, I shall bear thee finer and better children than those of Kua. Then again, thou art as yet but a youth. End not thy youth in this world in sorrow, but spend the days of thy youth in mirth and pleasure, for thy days are few and thy trial is great. Be strong in thy days in this world and rejoicing. I shall take pleasure in thee, and thou shalt rejoice with me in this wise and without fear. Up then and fulfill the command of thy Elohim. She then drew near to Adam and embraced him. But when Adam saw that he should be overcome by her, he prayed to Elohim with a fervent heart to deliver him from her. Then Elohim sent his word unto Adam, saying, O Adam, that figure is the one that promised thee the Elohim head and majesty. He is not favorably disposed towards thee, but shows himself to thee at one time in the form of a woman, another moment in the likeness of a Malachim, on another occasion in the similitude of a serpent, and on another time in the semblance of a God. But he does all that only to destroy thy soul. Now therefore, O Adam, understanding thy heart, I have delivered thee many a time from his hand, in order to show thee that I am a compassionate Elohim, and that I wish thy good, and that I do not wish thy ruin. That's the end of that one.
Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah. Now Yahuwah said a few words, but if you will notice, Hashatan said many more words. He said many more words to Adam. He is full of lip service. He is full of flattering lips, and he talks a lot. He talks a lot, and so does his children. His children speak a lot. But Yahuwah, on the other hand, he spoke words to Adam, but not as many words as Hashatan did. So if you're in the presence of someone who has many words, Abba told me a long time ago to beware of a man of many words. To beware of a man of many words. Either a man or a woman, beware of a person of many words. Hashatan had many words. Although Abba had a few words, they were far less than the words that Hashatan spoke. Herein lies another distinction that I pray you're paying attention to. Herein lies another distinction. The children of Hashatan have many words. Many words. Many of them flattering words. Many of them hissing words. Many of them incantations. They have many words. But someone who is of Yahuwah has very few words. Very few words. They don't speak much. They speak when they're prompted to speak. As our Father doesn't have many words. He speaks when he needs to speak. Barak Yahuwah. Read, little one.
Chapter 4.
The Forgotten Books of Adam and Kua, chapter 4. Chapter 4. So Abba has made the point while you're turning to that, that there is a righteous line of men, our firstborn sons, and which dates all the way back to Yahuwah himself and begins with Adam, and then goes all the way down through our righteous fathers till it reaches Yahushua HaMashiach, through whom, if we are in him, he is the branch, he is Ha-Natsah, and through whom, if we become branches, which is to say, not Sarim, him and us and him, then we too go all the way back. Our lineage goes all the way back to them, to Adam, leading to Yahuwah himself, because we have his very Ruach inside of us. We have his very Ruach inside of us. If he is not in us in him, which means that we are perfect like he is perfect, then the only other option is for us to have the spirit of the wicked one, and which Cain had. This is the distinction. This is the separation. There is no in between. Either we have the Spirit of Yahuwah, which indeed then connects us to this genealogy, which goes all the way back to Adam and to Yahuwah himself, or we have the spirit of the wicked one, which carries us all the way back to Cain and connects us to the wicked one himself. And there are indeed different characteristics and different traits which identify who is perfect and who is imperfect. Chapter 4 of the Forgotten Books of Adam and Kua. How are we looking for time, little one?
Hour and 10 minutes.
Hour and 10 minutes. Barak Yahuwah. Read.
Then Elohim ordered Hashatan to show himself to Adam plainly, in his own hideous form. But when Adam saw him, he feared and trembled at the sight of him. And Elohim said to Adam, look at this devil and at his hideous look, and know that he it is who made thee fall from brightness into darkness, from shalom and rest to toil and misery. O look, O Adam, at him who said of himself that he is Elohim. Can Elohim be black? Would Elohim take the form of a woman? Is there anyone stronger than Elohim, and can he be overpowered? See then, O Adam, and behold him bound in thy presence in the air, unable to flee away. Therefore I say unto thee, be not afraid of him. Henceforth take care and be aware of him in whatever he may do to thee. Then Elohim drove Hashatan away from before Adam, whom he strengthened and whose heart he comforted, saying to him, go down to the cave of treasures and separate not thyself from Kua. I will quell in you all animal lust. From that hour it left Adam and Kua, and they enjoyed rest by the commandment of Elohim. But Elohim did not the like to any one of Adam's seed, but only to Adam and Kua. Then Adam worshipped before the Master for having delivered him and for having laid his passions. And he came down from above the cave and dwelt with Kua as aforetime. This ended the 40 days of his separation from Kua.
Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah. Chapter 5.
Chapter 5.
Barak Yahuwah.
I need a sip of water.
Barak Yahuwah.
Okay.
Go ahead. Chapter 5.
As for Shaph, when he was 7 years old, he knew good and evil and was consistent. As for
Shaph, when he turned 7 years old, he knew good and evil. I told you they were perfect. They were all perfect. We're still talking about two manner of men, but we're looking at our perfect fathers now. We're looking at our perfect fathers, and prayerfully we are aligning ourselves with their behavior. So from 7 years old, he was perfect, and he knew good and evil. Read.
And was consistent in fasting and praying, and spent all his night in entreating Elohim for compassion and forgiveness. He also fasted when bringing up his offering every day, more than his father did, for he was of a fair countenance, like unto a Malachim of Elohim. He also had a good heart, preserved the finest qualities of his soul, and for this reason he brought up his offering every day. And Elohim was pleased with his offering, but he was also pleased with his purity.
He was also pleased with his purity, with his perfection, I pray that now that you're getting this narrative, that they were perfect. And if you claim fellowship with them, if we claim that we are related to them, we must be like them. Indeed, Elohim is what? He is light, and in him is no darkness at all. If any man claims fellowship with him, yet walks in darkness, he lies and does not live by the truth. Any darkness, he lies and does not live by the truth. Our life must resemble theirs. Our life must resemble Yahusha HaMashiach's, who resembled theirs. Our lives must be perfect. Read.
And he continued thus in doing the will of Elohim and of his father and mother.
He continued thus doing the will of Elohim.
Until he was 7 years old. After that, as he was coming down from the altar, Having ended his offering, Hashatan appeared unto him in the form of a beautiful Malachim.
Mind you, he was 7 years old now. Read.
Brilliant with light, with a staff of light in his hand, himself girt about with a girdle of light. He greeted Shaph with a beautiful smile and began to beguile him with fair words, saying to him,
Oh, here's those flattering lips again.
Oh, Shaph, why...
Here's those flattering lips again. Abba told me to beware of a man or a woman of many words with them flattering lips. Here we see he's always talking. He is always talking. And those who serve him, who have him in their hearts, they are likewise always talking, always flattering, always trying to get you to drop your guards. They are always talking, always running their mouths, and whereby not displaying the nature and the character of Yahuwah, which is Tom. Read, little one.
O Shaph, why abidest thou in this mountain? For it is rough, full of stones and of sand, and of trees with no good fruit on them. A wilderness without habitation and without towns, no good place to dwell in. But all is heat, weariness, and trouble. He said further, but we dwell in beautiful places, in another world than this earth. Our world is one of light, and our condition is of the best. Our women are handsomer than any other, and I wish thee, O Shaph, to wed one of them, because I see that thou art fair to look upon, and in this land there is not one woman good enough for thee. Besides, all those who live in this world are only 5 souls. But in our world there are very many men and many maidens, all more beautiful one than another.
Beware of flattering lips. Beware of flattering lips. Read.
I wish therefore to remove thee hence, that thou mayest see my relations, and be wedded to whichever thou likest. Thou shalt then abide by me and be at shalom. Thou shalt be filled with splendor and light as we are. Thou shalt remain in our world and rest from this world and the misery of it. Thou shalt never again feel faint and weary. Thou shalt never bring up an offering nor sue for compassion, for thou shalt commit no more crime nor be swayed by passions. And if thou would hearken to what I say, thou shalt wed one of my daughters, for with us it is no crime so to do, neither is it reckoned animal lust. For in our world we have no Elohim, but we are all gods. We are all of the light, heavenly, powerful, strong, and glorious.
Do you hear it? Do you hear it? This ain't new. Do as thou wilt. This isn't new. This was from the very beginning. Either it is order or disorder, Torah or Torahlessness. Torah is perfect. Indeed, the text says that Torah is perfect. Either there is perfection or imperfection. Either we are his seed or the seed of Elohim. There is no in between. Read.
Chapter 6.
Chapter 6. Barak Yahuwah.
Okay. When Shaph heard these words, he was amazed and inclined his heart to Hashatan's treacherous speech, and said to him, Saidest thou there is another world created than this, and other creatures more beautiful than the creatures that are in this world? And Hashatan said, Yes, behold, thou hast heard me, but I will yet praise them in their ways in thy hearing. But Shaph said to him, Thy speech has amazed me, and thy beautiful description of it all. Yet I cannot go with thee today, not until I have gone to my father Adam and to my mother Kua, and told them all thou hast said to me. Then if they give me leave to go with thee, I will come. Against Shaph, I am afraid of doing anything against said Shaph without my father and mother's leave, lest I perish like my brother Cain and like my father Adam, who transgressed the commandments of Elohim. But behold, thou knowest this place. Come and meet me here tomorrow. When Hashatan heard this, he said to Shaph, If thou tellest thy father Adam what I have told thee, he will not let thee come with me. But hearken to me, do not tell thy father and mother what I have said to thee, but come with me today to our world, where thou shalt see beautiful things and enjoy thyself there, and reveal this day among my children, beholding them, and taking thy full of mirth, and rejoice evermore. Then I shall bring thee back to this place tomorrow, but if thou wouldest rather abide with me, so be it. Then Shaph answered, The spirit of my father and of my mother hangs on me, and if I hide from them one day, they will die, and Elohim will hold me guilty of sinning against them. And except that they know I come to this place to bring up to it my offering, they would not be separated from me 1 hour. Neither should I go to any other place unless they let me. But they treat me most kindly because I am come back to them quickly. Then Hashatan said, what will happen to thee if thou hide thyself from thee one night and return to them at break of day? But Shaph, when he saw how he kept on talking and that he would not leave him, ran and went up to the altar and spread his hands unto Elohim and sought deliverance from him. Then Elohim sent his word and cursed Hashatan, who fled from him. But as for Shaph, he had gone up to the altar, saying thus in his heart, the altar is the place of offering, and Elohim is there. A divine fire shall consume it. So shall Hashatan be unable to hurt me, and shall not take me away thence. Then Shaph came down from the altar and went to his father and mother, where he found in the way longing to hear his voice, for he had tarried a while. He then began to tell them what had befallen him from Hashatan under the form of a Malachim. But when Adam heard his account, he kissed his face and warned him against that Malachim, telling him it was Hashatan who thus appeared to him. Then Adam took Shaph, and they went to the cave of treasures and rejoiced therein. But from that day forth, Adam and Kua never parted from him to whatever place he might go, whether for his offering or for anything else. This sign happened to Shaph when he was 9 years old.
He was 9 years old. And here by his example, we see that one wishing to be perfect and wishing to walk the ancient path, no different than Shaph and no different than Yahusha himself. Their desire is to do the will of their Father. Their desire, their whole desire is to do the will of their Father. You see, this is, as we just saw here, this is our protection from the wicked one. When we wholeheartedly desire to do the will of the Father, when his will becomes our will, when his desire becomes our desire, what is his will? That we keep and guard Torah, that we keep and guard his commands. This is our defense against the wicked one. This is our defense against the wicked one. When his desire is our desire and his will is our will, when our whole lives are wrapped up in his instructions, wrapped up in obedience unto him, and thus being that way, when we spread our hands to prayer, because he cannot stand in the presence of prayer, that Yahuwah will send a consuming fire down to curse and rebuke him on our behalf. Oh, some of you don't believe that this is our defense against the adversary. Someone real quickly, what chapter is next? Chapter 7?
Yes.
While she's turning to chapter 7, somebody turn to Matthew chapter 4, please. Real quickly. Matthew chapter 4.
Have it, Dad.
Begin at verse 1.
Then Yahusha was led up by the root into the wilderness to be tried by the devil.
Mm-hmm.
And after having fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was hungry.
Mm-hmm.
And the terror came and said to him, if you are the son of Elohim, command that these stones become bread.
Mm-hmm.
But he answered and said, it has been written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of Yahuwah.
Oh, can you not see Shaph in him? Can you not see and hear that 9-year-old boy contending with the devil? His desire was to do his father's will. That was Shaph's desire. Now, and that is to what? To do Torah. Now we hear Yahusha, who is now 30 years old, speaking the desire of the Father, not only speaking the desire of the Father to Hashatan, the desire of the Father's Torah, but obeying the desire of the Father, obeying his desire and speaking that desire to Hashatan. He's fighting him. He's fighting him via the desire and the will of the Father, which is Torah. Come on, read.
Me?
No.
Okay.
Are you still reading? Did it stop?
I'm sorry.
Oh no, okay.
Then the devil took him up on a set-apart city, set him on the edge of the set-apart place, and said to him, if you are the son of Elohim, throw yourself down, where it has been written, he shall command his messengers concerning you, and in their hands they shall bear you up, so that you do not dash your foot against a stone. Yahusha said to him, it has also been written, you shall not try Yahuwah your Elohim. And again the devil took him up on a very high mountain, and showed him all the reigns of the world and their esteem. And he said to him, all these I shall give you, if you shall fall down and worship me. And Yahusha said to him, go, Satan, for it has been written, you shall worship Yahuwah your Elohim, and him alone you shall serve. Then the devil left him, and see, messengers came and attended to him.
Barak Yahuwah.
Heard that Yehochanan had been.
You can stop right there. You can stop right there. And so, in the same way that Shaf contended and fought the devil, we see this taking place with Yahusha here. His desire was to do the desire of his father. His will was to do the will of the Father. And this is how he fought him. With the will, by the will and the desire of the Father. Shaf said, I can't go without checking with my father. I can't go with you without checking with my father. I got to check with my father first. Because that is his desire. I got to check with my father first. Yahusha, speaking and operating in the will of the Father, just like all of the righteous fathers, this is how he fought the adversary, and this is how you and I have to fight him. Read, little one, chapter 7 now. The Forgotten Books of Adam and Kua, chapter 7. How we doing for time?
128.
128. Barak Yahuwah. Chapter 7.
Okay. When our father Adam saw that Shaph was of a perfect heart, he wished him to marry.
Wait a minute. He had a what heart?
A perfect heart.
A perfect heart. Because they still don't believe that they were perfect, and we have to be perfect. He had a what?
A perfect heart.
He had a perfect heart. Read.
He wished him to marry, lest the enemy should appear to him another time and overcome him. So Adam said to his son Shaph, I wish, O my son, that thou would wed thy sister Akla, Habal's sister, that she may bear thee children, who shall replenish the earth according to Elohim's promise to us. Be not afraid, O my son, there is no disgrace in it. I wish thee to marry from fear lest the enemy overcome thee. Shaph, however, did not wish to marry, but in obedience to his father and mother, he said not a word. So Adam married him to Akla, and he was 15 years old. But when he was 20 years of age, he begat a son, whom he called Enosh.
Who he called Anush.
Anush.
And we just read about this righteous line in Genesis chapter 5. And in, I believe it was Luke chapter 3, we just read about this righteous line. So here he begots Anush. Read.
And then begat other children than him. Then Anush grew up, married, and begat Canaim. Canaim also grew up, married, and begat Mahalalel.
Mm-hmm.
These fathers were born during Adam's lifetime and dwelt by the cave of treasures. Then were the days of Adam 930 years, and those of Mahalalel 100. But Mahalalel, when he was grown up, loved fasting, praying, and with hard labors until the end of our fathers Adam's days drew near. And that's it for that.
Barak Yahuwah. We'll move to chapter 8. Chapter 8 of the Forgotten Books of Adam and Kua. Chapter 8 of the second book of Adam and Kua. Chapter 8 of the second book of Adam and Kua. Read, little one.
When our father Adam saw that his end was near, he called his son Sheph, who came to him in the cave of treasures. And he said unto him, O Sheph, my son, bring me thy children and thy children's children, that I may shed my blessings on them ere I die. When Shaph heard these words from his father Adam, he went from him, shed a flood of tears over his face, and gathered together his children and his children's children, and brought them to his father Adam. But when our father Adam saw them around him, he wept at having to be separated from them. And when they saw him weeping, they all wept together, and fell upon his face, saying, How shalt thou be severed from us, O our father, and how shall the earth receive thee and hide thee from our eyes? Thus did they lament much, and in like words. Then our father Adam blessed them all, and said to Shaph after he had blessed them, O Shaph, my son, thou knowest this world, that it is full of sorrow and of weariness, and thou knowest all that has come upon us from our trials in it. Therefore now command thee in these words to keep innocency.
To keep innocency. In other words, to keep perfection. To keep perfection. These are Adam's dying word to his son Shaph. Keep perfection. Read.
To be pure and just. And
to be pure, to be perfect. Read. And just. Read.
And trusting in Elohim.
And trusting in Elohim. This is the ancient way. This is the ancient way. Perfection. Purity. This is the ancient way. We cannot say that we are related to them if we are not aspiring for purity and perfection and innocency, to be innocent and calm, quiet, gentle, perfect, and complete. Read.
And lean not to the discourses of Hashatan.
And lean not to the discourses of Hashatan.
Nor to the apparitions in which he will show himself to thee.
Nor to the apparitions in which he will show himself to thee.
But keep thy commandments that I give thee this day.
But keep thy commandments which I give thee this day.
Then give the same to thy son Anush.
Then give the same to your son Anush. Teach him the perfect way. And Anush, you teach your son the perfect way. And you teach your son the perfect way. Till Yahuwah came in flesh in the person of Yahushua HaMashiach. To do what? To teach his sons the perfect way. Barak Yahuwah. Read.
And let Anush give it to his son Canaan.
Come on.
And Canaan to his son Mahaliel.
Yes.
So that this commandment abide firm among all your
this
children.
didn't start with Masha. This is the perfect way. This is the eternal perfect way. Didn't start with Masha. It started in eternity. All of our fathers were perfect. Read.
O Shaph, my son, the moment I am dead, take ye my body and wind it up with myrrh, aloes, and cassia, and leave me here in this cave of treasures in which are all of these tokens which Elohim gave us from the garden. O my son, hereafter shall a flood come and overwhelm all creatures and leave out only 8 souls. But, O my son, let those whom it will leave out from among your children at that time take my body with them out of this cave. And when they have taken it with them, let the oldest among them command his children to lay my body in a ship until the flood has been assuaged and they come out of the ship. Then they shall take my body and lay it in the middle of the earth, shortly after they have been saved from the waters of the flood. For the place where my body shall be laid is the middle of the earth. Elohim shall come from thence and shall save all of our kindred. But now, Shaph, O my son, place thyself at the head of thy people. Tend them and watch over them in the fear of Elohim, and lead them in a good way. Command them to fast unto Elohim, and make them understand they ought not to hearken to Hashatan, lest he destroy them. Then again, sever thy children and thy children's children from Cain's children.
Sever thy children and thy children's children from Cain, from the seed of Cain. Indeed, 2 manner of people. And we are still commanded to sever ourselves from them, to not intermarry with them, to not make agreements with them. We are still commanded to wherefore come out from among them and be ye separate. Touch not the unclean thing, and he will receive us. There is still 2 manner of people, perfect and imperfect. And as we're going to continue reading here, we may get to it today or we may not get to it today. As these ancient forefathers, these perfect forefathers were what? Were above. The children of Cain were below. Yes, they were. Yes, they were. It is still this way. The people of our ancient fathers, which are by extension the people of Yahuwah, are from above. And the people of Cain are from below. There is no in between. There are 2 manner of people. Read, little one.
Do not let them ever mix with those, nor come near them.
Do not let them ever mix. And they're not to even mix with us. When Abba reveals them, they've got to go. The leprosy has got to go. The children of Cain cannot intermingle with us because they will contaminate us. They will contaminate us. If you are indeed good seed, they will contaminate us. Read, little one.
Nor come near them either in their words or in their deeds. Then Adam let his blessing descend upon Shaph and upon his children and upon all his children's children. He then turned to his son Shaph and to his wife and to Kuah his wife, and said to them, preserve this gold, this incense, and this myrrh that Elohim has given us for a sign. For in days that are coming, a flood will overwhelm the whole creation. But those who shall go into the ark shall take with them the gold, the incense, and the myrrh together with my body, and will lay the gold, the incense, and the myrrh with my body in the midst of the earth. Then after a long time, the city in which the gold, the incense, and the myrrh are found with my body shall be plundered. But when it is spoiled, the gold, the incense, and the myrrh shall be taken care of with the spoil that is kept, and none of them shall perish, until the word of Elohim made man shall come, when kings shall take them and shall offer to him gold in tokens of his being king, incense in tokens of his being, Elohim of heaven and earth, and myrrh in tokens of his passion, gold also as a token of his overcoming Hashatan and all our foes, incense as a token that he will rise from the dead and be exalted above things in heaven and things in the earth, and myrrh in token that he will drink bitter gall and feel the pains of hell from Hashatan. And now, O Shaph, my son, behold, I have revealed unto thee hidden mysteries which Elohim has revealed unto me. Keep my commandments for thyself and for thy people.
Barak Yahuwah.
Barak Yahuwah.
Barak Yahuwah. So he's speaking righteousness to his son Shaph and commanding him to keep the perfect way and to watch over the people and to teach them the perfect way. Teach your sons the perfect way and pass this down throughout the generations and till it reaches Nuach and his sons, who are all perfect. And after the flood waters descend and go down, you 8 perfect beings. Now I want you to replenish the earth. As we read earlier a couple of weeks ago, I want you now to replenish the earth with righteous people from your loins. I want you to replenish the earth with righteous people. But what we saw was that righteous line did not continue through Calm, because Nimrod came through Calm, and it did not continue through Japheth, but it continued through the loins of Shaph, and through Shaph and his progeny came the Hamashiach, through righteous men, Barak Yahuwah. So teach your children this righteous way. Teach your children this perfect way, and teach them to be like Yahuwah. Teach them to be like our Father, having his very nature and having his very character, having his Ruach dwelling in you, and walk the ancient path and be perfect even as he is perfect. Where we're at, chapter 9? Mm-hmm. Barak Yahuwah. I think, how are we looking for time?
137.
137, Barak Yahuwah. This may be our last chapter. Okay. Or maybe we may read one more chapter, but this may very well be our last chapter. Okay. Chapter 9 of the second book of Adam and Kuah. Okay. Chapter 9 of the second book of Adam and Kuah. Read.
When Adam had ended his commandment to Shaph, his limbs were loosened, his hands and feet lost all power, his mouth became dumb, and his tongue ceased altogether to speak. He closed his eye and gave up the ghost eyes. But when his children saw that he was dead, they threw themselves over him, men and women, old and young, weeping. The death of Adam took place at the end of 930 years that be lived upon the earth. On the 15th day of Bermuda, after the reckoning of a pact of the sun at the 9th hour, it was on a Friday, the very day on which B was created, and on which he rested. And the hour at which he died was the same as that at which he came out of the garden. Then Shaph warmed him up well and embalmed him with the plenty of sweet spices from sacred trees and from the Kadush mountain. And he laid his body on the eastern side inside the cave, the side of the incense, and placed in front of him a lampstand kept burning. Then his children stood before him, weeping and wailing over him the whole night until the break of day. Then Shaph and big son Anush and Ka'anan, the son of Anush, went out and took good offerings to present unto the master. And they came to the altar upon which Adam offered gifts to Elohim when he did offer. But Kuah said to them, wait until we have first asked Elohim to accept our offering and to keep by him the soul of Adam his servant, and to take it up to rest. And they all stood up and prayed.
Let's read chapter 10 and we'll stop there.
Okay.
Barak Yahuwah.
Okay. And when they had ended their prayer, the word of Elohim came and comforted them concerning their father Adam. After this they offered their gifts for themselves and for their father. And when they had ended their offering, the word of Elohim came to Shaph, the eldest among them, saying unto him, O Shaph, 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 3 times, as I was with thy father, so also shall I be with thee, until the fulfillment of the promise I made him, thy father, saying, I will send my word and save thee and thy seed. But as to thy father Adam, keep thou the commandments he gave thee, and sever thy seed from that of Cain thy brother.
Sever thy seed from Cain thy brother. 2 manner of men, and we must be wherefore separated from them. There is only 2 manner of men. That's it. I pray that you're seeing this being played out. There's only 2 manner. Either we are descended from these righteous fathers, or we're descended from Cain. There is no in between. There is no in between. Perfect or imperfect people. That is it. The perfect will live. The imperfect will die. Read.
And Elohim withdrew his word from Shaph. Then Shaph, Kua, and their children came down from the mountain to the cave of treasures. But Adam was the first whose soul died in the land of Adam, in the cave of treasures. For no one died before him, but his son Habal, who died murdered. Then all the children of Adam rose up and wept over their father Adam, and made offerings to him 140 days.
Go ahead and read chapter 11. I'm trying to get somewhere. Chapter 11, second book of Adam and Kua, chapter 11. I'm trying to get to a stopping point.
After the death of Adam and Kua, Shaph severed his children, and his children's children from Cain's children.
Shaph severed his children. 2 manner of people. He severed his children from those wicked people. And this is still being played out today. He severed his perfect people from those imperfect people, because those imperfect people will contaminate the perfect. This is still being played out. This is still being played out. Read.
Cain and his seed went down and dwelt westward below the place.
Cain and his seed went down. So this was spoken earlier. The perfect are from above, which we're reading here. The perfect are living above, and the imperfect are living below. Either we are born from above, or we are born from below. If we are born from above, then we are descended from these righteous people. If we are born from below, then we're still prisoners of the flesh. We're still enslaved to Hashatan, and we're descended from Cain, and we're descended from the wicked one. And there is no in between. Read.
Below the place where he killed his brother Habal. But Shaph and his children dwelt northwards upon the mountain of the cave of treasures, in order to be near to their father Adam. And Shaph the elder, tall and good, with a fine soul and of a strong mind, stood at the head of his people, and tended them in innocence, penitence, and meekness, and did not allow one of them.
Wait a minute. I want you to say that slowly. In innocence,
penitence, and meekness.
And meekness, and humility. He was gentle. He was quiet. He was calm. He was a perfect man. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. He was a perfect man. Read.
And did not allow one of them to go down to Cain's children. But because of their own purity, they were named children of Elohim.
Wait a minute. Because of what?
Their own purity.
See, they didn't believe me. Because of their what?
Their own purity.
I told you we got to be perfect. Because of their own perfection, their own purity, they were named, they were called children of Elohim. This is the only way. If we're called children of Elohim, then we're to be perfect as he is perfect. We are to be pure, innocent, and perfect in the same manner in which he is, and in the same manner in which our ancient fathers were. Read.
And they were with Elohim instead of the host of Malachim who fell. For they continued in praise to Elohim.
For they continued in what?
Praise to Elohim.
For they continued in what?
Praises to Elohim.
Say it one more time.
Praises to Elohim.
Oh, and some of them won't even praise. Some won't even praise. Read.
And in singing psalms unto him in their caves.
Singing what?
Psalms unto him in their caves.
Some won't even sing psalms. Read.
The cave of treasures. Then Shaph stood before the body of his father Adam and of his mother Kua, and prayed night and day, and asked for compassion towards himself and his children, and that when he had some difficult dealing with the child, he would give him counsel. But Shaph and his children did not like earthly work, but gave themselves to heavenly things, for they had no other thought than praises, doxologies, and psalms unto Elohim.
Whoa. Oh, boy, this separation is something else. Man, this separation is something else. You see, if you're truly born from above, then Abba is on your mind all the time. He has taken over your mind. He is taken over your heart. And your only desire, like we're seeing this example, your only desire is to do his desire. Your only will is to do his will. You are his servant. A servant only does the will and the desire of his master. We are a servant of whomever we serve. And so, like our ancient fathers, if Abba isn't always on your mind, I mean always, constantly on your mind, constantly in your heart, then you need to do a compass check. You really need to do a compass check. There was nothing else that mattered to them. There was nothing else that mattered. And you can apply this to each one of our righteous ancient fathers. I can guarantee you that there was nothing else that mattered to them but Abba. Nothing else that mattered to them but Yahuwah. They was always singing praises, always giving thanks. He's always on their mind, always in their heart. This world, the possessions of this world, it meant nothing to them. It meant nothing. Absolutely nothing. And if we can't say the same, then we've got to ask the question if whether or not we are truly born from above or if we are born from below. Because there is no in between. Either we are perfect or imperfect. Either we are righteous or unrighteous. Either we are seed of Habal and by extension seed of Shaph, or we're seed of Cain or Cain. Either we are good seed, which is the seed of the rain, which are the sons of the rain, which means that we are born of Elohim, or we are seed of the wicked one. Either we are sheep or we are goats. We are tares. Either we are Jacob or Esau. There is no in between. There is no in between. And he's calling us to do a compass check, to understand now in this season once and for all that we have got to be perfect, and he is not accepting any other excuse. If we expect this road to lead to Mount Zion, then we must be perfect as he is perfect, and we must be perfect as our ancient fathers were perfect. We thank you, Abba, for another Shabbat Yom. We thank you for your words of life. We thank you for the example that you've given us through our ancient fathers. We thank you for this ancient path that you are revealing before our very eyes. We thank you for the great separation that is taking place, and that is taking place right before our eyes. You are showing us in this season who are yours and who are not. You are taking away the guessing. You are taking away the doubt, and you are giving us complete certainty as to who are yours and to who are not. We pray, Abba, for your continual strength and the continual pouring out of your Ruach to keep us in this ancient path, to keep us in this perfect path, to keep us from turning to the right or to the left of this ancient path. And it is our prayer, it is our expectation and our hope that if we stay in the way everlasting, that if we stay in the narrow way, that if we stay in the path that leads to life, that this path will lead us to Mount Zion, where we will be given a song that no one else can sing. It is my prayer, Abba, that no words this day, that no seed has fallen by the wayside, that no seed has fallen on stony ground, that no seed has fallen amongst thorns. but that this seed has fallen on fertile soil, such that your Ruach will come and water that seed, such that it will grow up, that seed will grow up to become a mighty tree, producing the fruit that leads to everlasting life. It is my prayer that no word will fall void to the ground, but that this very word will go forth and complete what you have sent it forth to do. In the name of Yahushua HaMashiach, so be it. To our YouTube family, we once again thank you for tuning in and joining us on the Shabbat Yom. I pray that as you continue to follow along with us, that you are learning that it is absolutely necessary that we be perfect. It's not optional. It is absolutely necessary. It's not optional. There are only two manner of people: the seed of Shaph, or the seed of Habal, and the seed of Cain. Either we are perfect or we are imperfect. And as we continue this journey of the ancient path, I pray that you are now seeing that this removes genealogy out of the equation. Either you're born from above or you're born from below. There is no in between. There is no in between. So until we meet again, to the YouTube family, Yahuwah barak you and guard you. Yahuwah make his face shine upon you and show favor unto you. Yahuwah lift up his face upon you and give you shalom. Thus you shall put my name on the children of Yasha'al, and I myself shall barak them. So be it. So be it. So be it. Shalom.